Hello, everyone. How is everyone doing on this Thursday? Yes, we are back here for the Ella Johnson Show, Part 2, Love and Relationships. But this time, we've mixed it up a little bit, right, guys? If you did not take a look at last night's broadcast, you missed it. Did they not miss it, guys?
Yes.
Y'all missed it last night. We had a very lengthy conversation about love and relationships, the things we do that make them lose interest, because sometimes we can be a little trifling. And so we talked a lot about sex, love, and relationships, dating, self-esteem, and we're going to pick a lot of that up tonight. So this is part 2 of that series. But tonight, also joining us, we have an indie artist, Demind, but he's not there.
People.
I don't know what's going on. There he is. Welcome. Well, he looks like he's a little frozen, guys. But listen, we're going to have a fun show tonight as well as we did last night, because we're just kind of tackling a lot of things about love and relationships. And tonight, we're going to add a little bit to the mix. We're going to talk about older women dating younger men and vice versa, if you will. Because it does happen. Now, I want you guys to meet my guest again. We have Sabrina Pruitt. She is a prominent businesswoman. She's also the mastermind behind Meme Syndrome. What is it? I'm sorry.
Petty Meme Syndrome.
Petty Meme Syndrome. Let me do that again. Sabrina, with her beautiful self, is a prominent businesswoman, and she is the founder and the mastermind behind Petty Meme Syndrome. And I want you to tell us a lot about that tonight, toward the end of the broadcast, because we didn't get a chance to do it last night because we just all caught up. But we want to definitely hear about that, because she's beautiful and she's doing her thing. And listen, I love when the queens are on the scene here, and we love to promote everybody's thing. Well, we have PJ Dakota. She's a rap artist, hip hop, guys. Now,
Yeah.
A
singer, hip hop artist.
She's a singer, hip hop artist,
Yeah.
and she's excellent. If you missed the broadcast last night, she actually performed on the show last night, and that was really nice. What was the title of that song you did last night?
Closer to Me.
Closer to Me. It was good. We had fun last night. Now, listen, she is doing her thing because she's number 6 on the charts. She's also number 22 on Billboard charts with her song Just Skate. I checked out the video, and it had so many elements of old school.
Oh, yeah.
So I had to watch it a few times because, back in old school, we skated a lot. That was our thing. Mm-hmm. And it's Just Skate, but she is rising on the charts with her song. So welcome again, PJ, to the Ella Johnson Show. Welcome, Sabrina.
Thank you.
Now, joining us tonight, guys, listen, last night Wendell did his thing here. He couldn't be with us tonight. But tonight we brought Demind. That, I think about so many things when I think Demind. And we're going to let you tell us what it actually means. But he's an indie recording artist, guys. And he's married now. But before he married the woman he's with, and hello to your wife. I'm sure she's beautiful. Tell her that we said hello from the Ella Johnson Show. But
Okay.
Before he married her, he was dating older women. Okay? So I know you guys want to hear a lot about that. I know I want to hear a lot about that, being an older woman. I want to get into his head and find out what they think about when they date older women. So are you guys ready to dig in tonight?
Oh, yeah.
Listen, those of you that are watching the broadcast, first of all, I want to thank you. Thank you so much for tuning in. You didn't have to. You could be watching television. You could be doing so many other things, but you decided to come in and be here with the Ella Johnson Show tonight. So if you're watching from Facebook, please share the broadcast. Comment, join us in the conversation. Ask questions, make comments. We'll bring them up on the screen there. If you're watching from YouTube, please subscribe to the channel. I mean, you're already there. Why not? Right? So now that we got all that out of the way, we're going to get all into the juicy stuff. We're going to start with the juicy stuff first, right? Now, Demind, you weren't here with us last night, so you didn't get a chance to hear everything that we were talking about. But let me just tell you guys, we want to give him a little review of last night? Now, Demind, I don't know how you are when it comes to relationships. I know you don't want to say much because your wife is probably watching, right? But honey,
I mean,
he's talking about the old days, okay? So now that we got that out of the way, I want you to relax so you can tell us, because we have to pick guys' brains. We have to find out what you guys are thinking. That's the only way we're going to know, because if we're dating somebody, they're usually going to lie to us. So we're not dating you, so you can tell us the truth, right?
yes.
All right.
Yes.
So guys, let's give him a little taste of what we talked about last night. One of the things that we talked about last night, Demine, we brought up the fact that sex is a very big part of a relationship. And it's amazing. Yes, of course, Ella's starting with the sex first, but I mean, can you help me out, PJ? You understand, right?
Oh,
but
yeah.
Listen, so we're gonna start there, because that is a very important part. And for some reason, we shy away from that topic. But that subject it needs to be talked about, because so many marriages are ending because there's either a lack of it, it's not good, it's not enough, or it's being shared with someone else, right? So when you say that sex is a very big part of the marriage, right? Relationships. So, we started out last night, Demine, and we were like, the first question was, do we jump into it too soon? Do we jump in it too soon? I want you to answer that, because these ladies answered it last night. So, do we jump in too soon?
When you say jump in, like, what are you jump into the relationship, or jump into the bed, or just
jump into the bed?
All together?
Do we meet somebody tonight? Some people are jumping in the bed tonight. What I'm saying is, do we do that too often and too soon?
I mean, I look at it like this, if it's 2 weeks or if it's 24 hours, it's going to be the same thing. So if y'all two compatible and y'all feeling each other, I mean, what's the problem?
Okay. See, that's kind of what I said too, a little bit. Last night, Bina, she's going to be joining us shortly. She was on this 90-day thing. Okay. We're going to let her come on and expound on that. But let me ask you something, Demine, as a man. And if a woman specifically said to you, look, bruh, 90 days, you can wait 90 days, you can hit it. Would you run, or do you stay? Real talk.
Okay. So I'm going to be honest.
Please.
Whew, if you tell me 90 days, I'm just going to stick around just to hit it for 90 days, then I'm done. Because it doesn't matter if it's 90 days is not going to make me stay. One night is not going to, it's not going to make me stay either way, right? If we compatible and we gelling, what's the difference in tonight or 90 days? Now, if you make me wait that long, I'll be like, man, you know what? It better be real. Because if it's trash, then I'm really out. So.
Now, I love the real talk here. So you're telling me you would stick around, hit it, and then you quit it. You're out. Just because she made you wait.
I'd be like, listen.
What if it's good? But what if it's good, though? What if it's good?
Because but guess what? Then you're setting yourself up. Because if she can put you on punishment for 90 days in a relationship that just started, you're gonna be in trouble as the relationship go on. So you just, those are things you got to nip in the bud early in a relationship that just.
My bad.
So, but my thing is, why do you feel like she's putting you on punishment just because you gotta wait? She's just saying, look, I think highly of myself, and my self-esteem says I'm not jumping in, because when we sleep together, those are soul ties. So I'm just not gonna get into bed with anybody. So why can't it not be about you? Why does it have to be about you at all? Why can't it be about her, that this is what she wants for her body? Because it's her body also.
Right, but what's the difference in 2 weeks or 2 days or 90 days? So when coming from a guy's point of view, right? So we think like this, and I'm just gonna be honest. We think, man, I'm tired of this chick, but I want to see what it's all about. You 45 days in, still gonna wait, So you be like, should you creep? Should you just try to wait out the 90 days, see what it is? The longer you wait,
well,
you'd be like, man.
Sabrina, I want you to respond to that. I want you to respond to what he just said, because he's saying, all right, Sabrina, you cute and everything. I'll give you a little bit, but when I get it, I'm out because you made me wait, and I ain't playing that. What do you have to say to him with that response?
I mean, if it's you kind of saying that it's solely kind of based on sex, and I mean, yes, you want to know. I mean, if it's trash or not, she probably feeling the same way. I mean, she wants to get to know you, so you have more things in common, more of an emotional connection versus just sex. Because I mean, some things you can work on, but
What do you say, PJ? What do you have to say to Demind?
I think his answer is kind of typical. That's what I think how men think, just hit it and quit it. It's whatever. That's what I think. So am I surprised that if I do let him get it and he leave? No, then like, is he really serious or he just around for the panties? So.
Because see, Demind, that's what women are always worried about. We're always concerned what your intentions are.
Okay, so take the good in the gate because that's why you out there doing it. Like as always, there's two types of things. Either people looking for a relationship or for help. So you got to figure out what each other looking for, right? So if somebody's just looking for help, then their mind is not in a relationship. They might just need a place to stay for 2 weeks or a month or a year. So I'm just throwing that out there. But when you if you say, hey, you having a relationship, go ahead.
I go to work.
Okay.
See?
Yeah.
You watch it?
Yeah. And so you just look at the situation as like wait, if you compatible and you feel and say, okay, she cool, this and that. Okay, I might wait the 90 days. But then you be like, why? And then you like have the conversation. It's not just like, I'm gonna wait 9 days. I'm not feeling myself. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing that with nobody, which I understand. But at the same point in time, at some day, whether if it's 2 weeks or 90 days, would you to make me wait, then it's better be good. Because if not, then the bag is gonna get packed. Because you'd be like, you made me wait for this.
I tell you one thing, it's a good thing you are already married. That's a good thing. Because listen, but you know what? This is what I love though, PJ. I love this, PJ and Sabrina, because he's being honest. And this is exactly what we want to draw to the show, because we need people to hear this is what some men think, whether they say it or not. So we're going to pick your brain a little bit more, because we're going to move on to a little bit more about this sex. Side chicks. Now, I know you probably never did that in your life, right? Just don't answer that question. There's some things even the host don't expect you to answer, okay? So don't answer that question, but you're married. It's all good. But, well, just for the fun of it, have you ever had a side chick? See how I did that? Went all the way around and came right back to it.
If you say no, then you'll be lying. So, I'm going to just put it like that. If I say no, then I'm lying. So.
Okay, so then you just said the answer. He just said yes. Okay, so you had a side piece. Now he said all that, just say yes. All right, so you had a side piece. Let me ask you a question, because women can think all day why men go out and get somebody else. Why did you go out and get someone else to mind?
Man, sometimes it's just like they say, the in-house is harder to get than the outside. So
I don't know if I've ever heard that.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever heard that? Have you ever heard that, PJ?
He's saying, I mean, it's hard out at home sometimes, and when things ain't
So
going
you're
right.
saying you weren't getting any, so you had to go out in the streets and get sex from another woman?
No, I'm just saying it's like, like sometimes it's like you in a situation where you be like, man, okay, no, I don't feel good. No, doctor, I know this and all that. And you be like, dang, I mean, okay, what's wrong? Or, what's your feeling? So, and then if it's like, no, it's just me. So then you start to figure like, okay, then, whatever's whatever. So that's basically how it really happens with if you let dudes tell it.
Now, this is funny because last night, didn't I say this, Sabrina? I said, not all men cheat because of sex. He just blew that right out of the water. You just burned my psychology license. Okay, so you're just telling me then that, all right, so you did it for sex. Did the lady that you were cheating with, did she want more?
I mean, of course, when people start to catch feelings, so you have to, like, even though you like understand that it's just a side thing, but even sometimes the dude catch more feelings because of the way the chick is, and then so both sides will start catching feelings. Then you have to break it off.
Oh, so you broke it off and you hurt her.
If you go outside, because, like, if I say, hey, if I go outside, if I say, hey, there's money down the street over here, a bank just blew up, but you'd be like, no, I got a job, but you want more money, right? So you go there to check to see what's going on. And if you start to like it, then, you start to, like, deal with it until you be like, okay, either something bad gonna happen between the relationship to where you pick up the side chick, or you break it off with the side chick.
Wow. Now, what's wrong with, okay, now let me ask you a question, PJ. Yeah. Is it better for men to be straight up with a woman and say, listen, I'm not trying to have a relationship with you. I'm married, and I'm just feeling a little sexually frustrated right now, and I just really want to have a good time. Can we do this without you catching feelings? Can we do this? I mean, is that horrible to do? Is that possible? Or is it necessary? Because he handled it wrong. He hurt her. So what's the alternative to that, PJ?
No, I think it's the most responsible thing to do is to be upfront and honest, but it's kind of really on the female too. Is she strong enough to be able to take that? She might already be feeling a certain way going into that situation at that moment. It's like, you got to put on the brakes. And then, yeah.
Do we have sex with our emotions, or can we actually just physically have sex, Sabrina? Are women capable of not tying their emotions into sex?
I think nowadays they are.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
You hear that, Demine? So when you guys are trying to do it, we doing it too, boo. I'm just letting you know. But things are changing, Sabrina says.
Cardi B and Meg.
Listen, we know. Listen, we know women creep. That's why Murray's around, and Murray said you're not the father. So when Murray said you're not the father, that means they've been a creeper. So, we know women just more. Women can do it more smoothly than men, because women don't really tell on themselves. Do their homework on their homeboy. That's how people really, it's like they homeboy. Like a woman, she won't even tell her best friend she's seeing somebody on the side, but a dude will be like, hey man, I'm smashing shorty over there. So, and be like, you live with your girl and you smashing shorty? Yeah, man, shorty my piece. So then that's so the women put their chest out a little more.
Yeah, because while you're over there smashing shorty, your boy is over there smashing your wife.
Yeah.
Now I want you to think about that tonight, Demine. That should make you never want to cheat again. I just said, that should make you never want to cheat.
But you know what? I can honestly say, like, I never been in a marriage with a side piece. Relationship, yeah, but marriage, no, because now there's more to walk away from in a marriage than a relationship. Right. So, and then there's I'm in a good, like, my marriage is real good. Like, we're more than just bedmates.
You're saying so many good things, but your audio, Demine, you're saying so many good things, but your audio is horrible. Is there any way for you to get on a computer? Because I want to hear everything you have to say. why don't you work on that? And I'm going to talk to the ladies real quick. All right. Yeah, work on that. So, ladies, so far with what Demian has been telling us, what are you thinking, Sabrina? Because you're sitting there, you're just like, I don't believe this guy.
No, I believe him. I mean, we have more men thinking like that than we do ones with more values. So you run across more of those. That's why you're more on guard, because some women don't know how to play the game.
Yeah.
So,
And that's a good thing, right?
I mean, I would think so. But
Well, I'm just going to be honest with you. I'm going to put it out there. If I were going to cheat, I would never get caught. I would never get caught. I'm just smooth like that. But this is the thing with me. I don't want to.
Right.
Every woman has an opportunity to. And for you men that are watching this broadcast, that are sitting right next to your woman right now, look at her, because she has an opportunity to cheat on you. But because she doesn't, you should appreciate her, because there's so many temptations. There are so many temptations out here now. I mean, especially if you have a man and you're sitting there just watching the nightly news, you might see somebody twerking. So you got to compete with that. Now I got to go learn how to twerk. You know what I'm saying? So there's just, but you know what, now that we're on that subject, do you ladies feel like sometimes you have to change what you're doing because of what's out here in these streets now?
I
Go
don't
ahead.
know about just completely change, but incorporate maybe.
Right.
Okay.
Just
Yeah.
I say
So she says, So
Go ahead.
Sabrina, turn your volume up a little bit. Turn your volume up, because you're saying good things too, but your volume is kind of low. But you know what? I think that let me take what one of our guests is saying here. Lamar Lewis says most women won't get caught, but if you love her properly, then that's not a worry. That's what I'm saying.
Yep.
That's right. Because, but now that we're talking about that though, I really want people to know why women cheat. If I were going to cheat, this is what it would be. That's just like O.J. Simpson saying, if I had murdered her, this is what I would have done.
This is what I would have done. Yeah.
Right? But if I were going to cheat, this is why. Because women are communicators,
Right.
guys. And we love men that talk back to us. I don't care if you got to read a book to figure out how to make my woman happy so she's not grumpy all the time. So it's the little things. And it starts in the morning. I'm just going to tell you. In the morning when you walk by her and you pat her on the bottom, or in the morning when she's in bed and looking rough and she hasn't made herself up and you tell her how beautiful she is, you're starting foreplay right then, right? Sabrina and PJ, it starts right then. Because guess what? She's going to think about it all day. She's going to be like, you know what?
Yeah.
He must really be into me. And when she comes home, there's no telling what you're going to walk into. Right? So it's like we want these shows to be good, but let's talk a little bit now. I brought out what women want that would make them cheat. Sabrina, what kinds of things do you think that would make women cheat as well? I mean, I said my say. What do you think?
When she feels excluded.
That's a good one.
So it's more like, well, what's the point of me being here? You know?
That's a good
got
one.
your whole life and I'm not in it. So
I see Lamar says I'm here because of Jonathan. Well, thank you, Lamar. And thank you, Jonathan. I love it. She said in the morning, preach Ella. That's right, Denise. We need that communication. Because listen, y'all know that song Ray Parker, what's his name? Ray Parker said, I know y'all don't know about Ray Parker because y'all youngins. But he said a woman needs love just like you do. Don't kid yourself into thinking that she don't. Ooh, okay?
Right.
Because I mean, and it's real. I mean, we're in the gist of having fun tonight, but it's real, guys, because if you really love that woman that you're with and you don't want to hurt her, you have to find out what her love languages are. But women, we got to know what ours are too. And you can't switch them up every month. I'm just saying. Right?
Yeah.
You can't switch them up. Well, it's the beginning of the month. This is my language. You know, because you'll confuse the man.
Yeah. Why not?
Right?
I've seen
Right.
women or females where they have more than. No, go ahead. Go ahead, Sabrina.
Okay, I was just gonna say I agree with Ella when she was saying, you know, the conversation and being a conversation. If we have more men on the outside, being attentive to us, and then the person on the inside is not, you know, is spaced out or whatever, and then they're getting jealous of the things that they could be doing, but they choose not to. I don't understand how that is even rationalized. When somebody else can send you a good morning text, but then the person that's next to you can't even say good morning, or they're rushing, or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I agree with what you're saying.
Oh yeah.
Very good. You wanted to add to that, PJ?
Okay.
Oh yeah, no. No, I've seen, or you know, being ear conversations and you hear these females would have more than one, and it's like, well, you know, I'm with Tom because he helps. Which I think I said this the other day. He pays my bills, and then the other guy, well, he's good in bed, and then so now they've got different men fulfilling different things because the one guy ain't doing none of that. But
Wow.
they're not staying stable. Like, well, why stay in that relationship? Just go find a new person. They're misused, get guys for different reasons or whatever. And I'd be like, wow, that's really interesting.
I mean, you know, you think about it, it's like so each one of them have a different job to make her complete. And I don't think there's anything wrong with the guys. I think there's something wrong with the woman.
Yes. Yeah.
Because you're trying to find something that doesn't need to be fed.
Yep.
You know, I think that we have to be very careful about that. Lamar says, this is fun. This is so cute. I just love you, Lamar. He says, I mess with my wife all day. And you know what, Lamar? You and your wife will be together for a long time.
Good job.
Yes.
You will be together for a long time. Because I think one of the most important things that a man could do is get to know your woman for real. Know what she likes, know what she doesn't like. If you know she likes to hear you say good morning, babe, in the morning, then make a conscious effort to do that. How hard can that be? You know, but do we nag too much, guys? As women, do we nag just a little bit too much? Yeah. Now, why do you say that? I know why I say it, but why do you say that, PJ?
I know I do, and I've been told that I do, and I'm working on that. But it's the whole. Sometimes, like you said, if they don't do the little small things or whatever, and you're trying to communicate to them that they need to, or they're missing the ball, and now, you know, so I'm constantly reminding them to do those things. It's like, why do I gotta do that now? To them, I'm nagging. I know, but I just want to know if we could just go to the movies today and whatever, you know. So I don't know. I just sometimes just have to nag.
I think sometimes, Sabrina, we're trying. I think sometimes women are not as direct as we should be. Sometimes we throw hints, and they're just not getting it. And now we're mad because they're not getting it. So why don't we just say, look, even when it comes to sex, this is what I like. This is what I don't like. Are you the kind of person, by show of hands, who here will honestly tell the guy what they like when it comes to sex? Okay, Sabrina, why not?
Sometimes.
Okay, so you can put your hand up and take it down real quick. Okay.
I guess it just depends on this. It depends on the situation, and it depends on my mindset at the time. So, if I thought that we really hit it off or something, and maybe. But if I know that it's probably gonna go downhill anyway, then there's really no point in talking anymore. So.
Okay, yeah, that's true. I mean, how soon do we talk about sex though? Do we talk about the first date? Like, look, let me just tell you right up front. Or do you wait to get to know them? Because this is my thing. If I think that I might want to go that way with you, I'll talk about it down the road, not the first night, because I want you to think you're not going to get it. I want you to figure out what it's going to take to get it. But have I ever had to do it on the first night? Yeah.
Right.
I mean, can we confess? Have you ever done it the first night, PJ?
Yeah.
Sabrina? Sabrina.
She said, "Nah."
He's like, no, but you know what? To each his own. To each his own. But this is the thing for me. The person that I did that with, well, the recent person that I did that with, I'm still with that person. And it's been like 3 years. I'm sorry. So it you know, it's because I knew. You know what I'm saying? There's just some people you just know. I think we may have let's see what we got. Let's see if we can bring Demai back up. Okay, turn your phone down because I can hear me there. All right. It's my girl here too. Oh yeah, we definitely have some going on there. I'm gonna have to mute your mic, Demai. Hello, Bina.
Good.
How are you, love?
People, how y'all doing?
Well,
Hi.
I am
Sorry I'm
so
late.
good. It's okay, girl. It's okay. I'm just glad you are in the building. You know, because we have a good conversation again tonight. Listen, Demai is having some stuff going on there. Let me see here. What's going on? Hi.
You got to go watch your house. You see, my house is a little bit more active tonight. We got a lot going on.
Yeah, that's okay.
So bear with me. My apologies.
It's all good. It's all good. Well, we have everybody here now, so I'm excited. All right, looks like we got. Now, see, that's what I want. I want to see your eyes and everything, Demai. So you're back. Well, Bina is joining us again. She's my girl. She's my friend. She's from here in O-Town, and we're having an interesting conversation. Bina, I just want you to jump in. We're talking about sex. Of course, we started with that tonight. Because then we're going to talk about older women dating younger men and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, we don't want the baby here to hear that. I don't want to be responsible for anybody say, you know, I heard something on the Ella Johnson show, and they'll be like, I can't be responsible for that. But anyway, guys, so you're back, Demai. Welcome back.
Thank you.
So have you had a chance to think about all the things you said to us that got us all messed up?
You know what? You know what life is like. My mom used to always say, if you feel comfortable with it, don't regret it. You know, so once you even if the outcome is bad, you felt comfortable with it. So don't regret it. Like I've dated like when I moved to Atlanta, my first 4 or 5 girlfriends were like 10 to 15 years older than me.
Well, we're gonna talk about that. Let's jump into that right now, guys. Let's talk about older women and younger men. Okay, by a show of hands, how many of us? I mean, you can't say this to mine because you're not a woman. How many women on this panel tonight have dated, will date a younger man? Okay, so we're all in the building then. Did you raise your hand or did you scratch your head, Sabrina? You know, you confuse me.
I let you scratch your head.
No, it's like
You raised your hand?
So I was trying to like hear. I'm trying to hear. I have dated a younger man.
Okay, so good. So then we're gonna definitely have a good conversation then. Now, Demai has dated older women. Okay. Now, while he's getting himself together there, let me ask you guys a question. What was the biggest challenge, PJ, that you had dating a younger man? What was the biggest challenge?
Okay, well, you gotta understand your question was both if we have and would we. So I never have, but I will. So
okay. Okay.
Demai, you gotta think about that. The headphones, your connection is crazy.
It really is.
Well, I'll just say this while we're waiting on that. My fiance is 9 years younger than me. So I am currently involved with a younger man. This is my first time dating and about to marry a young man because my ex-husband is 20 years older than me. So I went from one spectrum to the next. So it's been exciting. It's been different going from having an older husband that's 20 years my senior to having a younger fiance who is 9 years younger than me. And I believe the most biggest thing what I've learned is when you have someone who's younger than you, you guys are really growing together. You know, you're a little bit older, you've been around the block, you kind of know a little bit more. And so I guess my biggest thing, and I'm a very aggressive type of woman, I've had to learn how to soften up a little bit more and not emasculate him as a man. That's been my biggest thing in our relationship, to not emasculate him and to not make him feel less than what he is, the head of our household.
Wow. What about you,
I
Sabrina?
I'm sorry. Go ahead. I stand corrected. I had to think about it.
PJ?
I said I stand corrected. My first boyfriend was younger. I forgot about that. But yeah, go ahead, Sabrina.
Well, it must not have been too good if you forgot about him. I'm just saying. I mean, because I remember everybody. I'm just saying. You know.
Yeah.
Okay, so you have, what was the biggest challenge, PJ?
It was truly the age difference. It was like a 3 or 4 year difference, and we were young. I think we were still in. That's how I say it go back. So we were still in high school, and I think I had just graduated. That was my first year in college, and he was still in high school. And he you know, it was like, well, she's not here, so I'm gonna go play. And it was like, really? And then not that I was necessarily experienced in a relationship. This is my first boyfriend, but you know, as a woman, we had the 6th sense, 7th, and 8th sense, and I could feel something wasn't right. And then so I tested the waters, and I said, I'm seeing how long it's gonna take him to contact me. 3 months went by, and he still hadn't contacted me. And then when I contacted him, he picked up like it was nothing, like we had just been talking the day before. And I said, nope, something ain't right, and I'm out. And come to find out, he was dating somebody else the whole time.
What?
Yeah.
A younger guy?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. What were your challenges, Sabrina? Or if you had any. Did you have any challenges, Sabrina?
My challenge was, I guess when they're in their 20s and they're still trying to find themselves, and you kind of got things figured out and you're in a flow. So, you're trying to be patient to try to, help them along. So that was one of my biggest challenges.
All right, so Demine, we're gonna ask you, because I don't think your mic is. It says that I tried to unmute you, but it says your mic. Can you hear me, Demine?
I can hear you.
Okay. All right, perfect. So talk to us, Demine. You dated a lot of older women. Why?
First of all, I mean, I didn't never ask the age for a while. I mean, we just talked because I just bumped into her. Actually, the first one, when I first came to Atlanta, I just bumped into her into the West End Mall. And basically, a lot of women used to like to talk to me because I came from South Carolina, where we spoke like Geechee or Gullah, which is a African language. So,
really? Speak some of that to me. Say hello. How are you doing in Geechee? I've never heard that.
My accent is gone, but like we say stuff like britches or getcha or heifer, or we just say different things but it means like pants. Like we say put the britches on, but it means pants. You
Oh,
know, so
okay.
we
I'm from
say,
Alabama. We say britches too. I didn't know it was Geechee though.
yeah, it's Geechee. It's Geechee.
Okay.
Well, Alabama is around South Carolina and Florida. So y'all, they call it a broken language, but it's
Right.
It's actually a African or a Gullah language. That's what it's really
Okay.
called, a Gullah language. So I spoke that Gullah language. So they used to like to talk to me because I sounded funny to them. And I was like, man, I'm not trying to be funny, but that's just the way I talk. I used to talk. And like now, so when I go home and have conversations with my little brothers and sisters, because they still talk that way, I be laughing or trying not to laugh because, it's funny. When you hear it for the first time, it's actually, you be like, man, I like talking to this guy because I like to hear the accent.
But
So
I want
that's
to know,
why,
why were you dating older women?
so
Why were
that's
you
how come
dating?
that's why come I got attractive to a lot of older women. The first chick just loved the way I talk. She was from
Right.
Houston, Texas. She was an ex dancer. Um, so we was just
Ballet
sitting out.
dancer? She was a ballet dancer.
Yeah, I mean no, but no, she was an ex dancer from Houston. She had moved to Atlanta to start over, and so
Okay.
you know, um, she told me everything up front. So I said, okay, you plan to start over. I'm just getting to the city. Let's just see if we can make it work. So we dated for like 4 years, and then
How much older was she than you? How many years?
when I came here, I was 19, and she was like 29 or 30.
Okay.
And so like we both got to the city almost the same time. So we both experienced the city. I say, hey, what do you like? Because you got to find out when you have an age difference. You got to see there's anything in there more than just uh kissing and hugging. So I was like, hey, you like basketball? No, hey, why you come to the city? Then so I say, hey, I moved to the city to be a hip hop artist. You know, I like to go to basketball games, I like to go to football games, this and that. And then like once you start to say, okay, I can do that, I can get into it. And so she got into sports because she wanted to be around me. And so then it went good. It's just that she went back home. It went good. It wasn't nothing bad. But older
So you
chicks are
didn't
more.
have a bad breakup. She just moved.
Yeah, but the older chicks are more possessive. More possessive. She was like, because she always be like, "Hey, I thought you said you can get here at 6:30. It's 6:35. Could you give me 5 minutes for traffic?" So they're a little more possessive. Um, I'd be like, "Hey,
I
I'm
think
going to
that's
the, I'm
possessive,
going."
not to cut you off.
I'd be like, "Hey, I'm going to the gym. I'll be back. When you coming back? I play till I lose, or I play till I get tired. I'll be back. I'll call you on the
That's
way
not
Talk to
back."
him,
So
Bina.
it's just
Talk to him, Bina.
that's not being possessive. I think she just wanted you to be a man of your word, and if you say something, like hold yourself up to that. But I don't think that was being possessive, wanting to communicate what you got going on. That's what you do in a relationship. Being possessive is more of like, no, you can't go play that game that you want to go play with. You gonna stay here with me.
See,
that's
that's
those.
that nagging. That's the nagging we
But
were talking about earlier.
But let me
That's the
say
thing
this:
about
it's
nagging.
like, okay, so if I say, you got to give 5 or 10 minutes because of traffic, especially in Atlanta. So if I say, hey, I'm on the way home, and I get there like, what's your ETA? Well, I'm on the way home. So I used to always say, hey. So I think like you trying to like micromanage every second I make, which is not good. And so I said, if you tell me you're on the way home, okay, coming from Atlanta to Marietta, there's a lot of traffic. So if you say it usually take 30 minutes, but you come in 40 minutes, I'm not gonna be like, hey, I thought you said you're gonna be there in 30 minutes. Well, I know there's traffic, there could be an accident, could be other stuff. I'm not expecting you to give me word for word why you late. So there's got to be a trust factor. If I say I'm being here at 6:30 and I get there 6:35, I'm there. It's still within a 5-10 minute period.
Yeah,
So
that's
that's nagging, right?
right.
PJ,
Yeah,
is that
It's more
nagging?
like nagging and
but,
and
but if
and
you just say you're
micromanaging.
here at 6:35 when you ask
It's more
what
like micromanaging because you're trying to like if like I say, hey, I'm going to the gym. Well, when you coming back? Well, no, when we go to the gym, we play till we lose or we get tired. So if you say, hey, that this is just I'll call you when I'm done. Well, when are you gonna be done? I don't know. I might go play 5, 6 games. So if I say I'm going to the studio, well, how long you gonna be there? Well, as an artist, when you go to a studio, it might take you 5 minutes to 5 hours to do what you want to do, or it might take you 8 hours. So I say, hey, I'm going to the studio. So and then like sometimes I'll cut the phone off. Why you cut your phone off if you're in the studio? Because I'm recording and the phone's ringing. So it's
See,
just
that's too much. That's
Yeah,
that's way too much.
when you was young, you probably was hanging out. Own it. Don't just
no.
own it.
But
Telling Bina,
see, that's
she had a
where
reason.
that's
She had
where
to have a reason.
no,
I'm gonna
but
say
that's
you
where.
gave her every reason to believe, and trust me, a woman's intuition it never lies. So
But
you
You
gave
understand,
her a
baby?
reason
listen, let me say
Yes.
this.
to
Let me say
believe.
this. Let me say this. And I learned this. One day because we was in the studio. You never take your main chick to a studio. You never take your main dude to a studio. So I always tell people that. So one day we was in the studio and I had just dropped this record. It came out on SCM radio, and a few people that know about the record. So one of my partners from Alabama, he had brought his girlfriend in the studio. So I'm sitting there trying to record, and his girlfriend was like, 'cause he's one of my features. So his girl's like, I said, hey, we got the beat done. I already finished writing. I'm gonna let them write. I'm gonna go to the store and grab some drinks. I'll be back. So the girl comes out, hey, can I ride with you? I said, you came with my home. I said, hey, you came with my homeboy. Make sure you ask him if it's cool. So she said she went and asked him. She came back, jump in the car. So I took off to the store and come back. When I come back, he's hotter than fish grease. He's like, man, you supposed to be my boy. This and that. I said, dude, I told the girl go ask you to come with if she can go to the store. She said, yeah. No, you take the bitch home. You do the. I said, I got a girlfriend. I can't have her in my car. Because I was like, I'm gonna call my girl as soon as we're done. So, and I said, man, when you come to a studio, never bring your main piece. I said, what if Little John was in here? What if T.I. was in here? Somebody she really liked. Then you really had a problem, right? Then you'll be the hated rapper. All right. So, but the main story is, or the moral of the story is number one, when I tell her I'm in the studio, she got to trust me because I'm working. I'm actually working, believe it or not. So I don't say,
I
hey,
convinced us that you was working.
huh?
He said, you don't gotta convince us that you was working. I'm actually working.
It did sound like he was working a little overtime trying to convince us, didn't he?
I tell people like this. Listen,
Foolery.
my wife will tell you. My wife will tell you this, and she'll say, when I first met her, I wasn't really serious with her. I had like 4 different chicks. She'll tell you. She'll tell you the whole story. So one day she was like, hey, you want to go eat something? I said, sure. Let's go out. So we went down eating. She was like, well, what's the difference between me and the other 3 chicks? I said, number one, you're young, so you got an opportunity to do more. And I said, I don't want you well, she's not that young, but she's about 10 years younger than me. And I said, but you got a lot of pluses, but the only problem I don't like is you smoke cigarettes. She said, I can stop smoking cigarettes. I said, the other chick get on my damn nerve. I said, but they cool as shit at sometimes. So that's like hanging around them because they cool as shit. And so she was like, well, how can I get rid of the other 3 chicks? And I said, listen, it takes time, because I'm not just going to say, hey, boom, the chick's done, or try to make you think that I'm not messing around with them anymore, just to be honest. So it's going to take time. So as she started doing more for me than other chicks, because like she took my keys one day. I was at work. She came and took my keys. And so I couldn't get home. And then I was like, man, why she take my damn keys? I'm like pissed off. I can't move my car, nothing. So then she finally come back and I'm sitting in the inside of the restaurant waiting for her. She doesn't tell me she come back. She comes, put the key back in my car and she goes home. So she was like, hey, you'll get us a big surprise when you're home. So I figured that she went home and trashed the apartment. So I'm looking for all the food to be out the refrigerator, the clothes to be everywhere, the couch to be flip up. But no, she actually went home. She washed and folded my clothes, cleaned up the house. And I said, what did you do? She was like, what do you mean what I do? I said, you mess up the house. She's like, how you mess up the house? I said, because you wash the clothes, you fold everything, you put things in the right way where it's supposed to go. That's not how I like it. So then, I was just messing with her. But she started doing more, and then I was like, okay, maybe she more serious. And then that's how we end up, because she became more serious, and then she started talking about goals she wanted. And I said, well, we have pretty much the same goals. And I said, I want to be if I said I want to be a hip hop artist, but if it takes long to pan out, I want to be a business owner. And so she said, that's what I want to do too. So we opened up we started a business together, and then that's how it got more serious.
So let's back up then, okay? Because let's talk about the times when you were dating older women. Because now I know you're married to a younger woman, but we want to talk a little bit more about when you were dating older women. Do you think that women get a bad rap for wanting to be with a younger man? I want everybody to answer that question. You start with it, Demine.
No, I don't think it's that. I really think it's like, okay, so when a woman's older than you, she tries more to try to lead you a way that she wants you, right? Instead of like let you find your way with her, right? So in saying that, I was like, okay. So I tell her like this, okay, I got to find out what you like. You're a lot older than me, not much, by about 10, 15 years. You're older than me. Okay, so I got to find out what do you like all the way around the board. So I got to find out what you like sexually, what you like, what stimulates you, what makes you happy. I say, because money don't make me happy. I said, I'll just be honest with you. I said, money don't make me happy. But I said, if I'm with the right person and, we taking trips and we enjoying life, I said, I don't really care. And so then that's how we got, because I got her to understand that, because most of the time she was like, man, I just want a man with money so I cannot do nothing. And I was like, that's not the goal. That's not the goal. Because if I said, let me tell you something, I have a bunch of rich friends and they have 3 girlfriends and a wife. So cheating is a rich man's game. I'm just being honest with you. Cheating is a rich man's game. This is why people get blown out of the water, because you try to be more than who you are, and then the chicks be like, "Oh man, you stunting." I know you saw the little article where the dude was cheating on his wife, and he bought the girl a fake Gucci purse, and so she put him on blast on the internet saying, "He bought me this fake purse." Then his wife saw it. So cheating is a rich man's game.
All right, let me go to Bina. Talk to me a little bit about that. Do you think, Bina, that women sometimes get a bad rap for wanting to be with younger men, like calling us desperate or things like that? What's your thought on that?
I think they get a bad rep when they start dating men that is younger than their children. That's when the bad reps start coming in. But I think it's more accepted now than it's ever been, because men been doing it for years. So I think more people just don't care. But it is I'm not even gonna say it's like different, because even older men, they fools too. So thank God I have a younger man that was very mature for his age, and
Right.
More on my level.
That makes a difference.
Yes,
Sure,
it really
definitely makes a difference.
He wasn't like the average 24-year-old when I met him. He's 29 now. We're gonna be 30 this year. So I am very grateful and thankful for him. And now that, when people be like, wow, you're 9 years older than him, I'm like, yeah, almost, but I'm not a Kruger, because I think it was like you had to be 10 years or more to be considered a Kruger.
Is there something wrong with being a cougar, PJ? Like, is that a negative thing?
No, I don't necessarily think it's, I guess it's
Cradle Robber. And how old is your wife again?
I don't think
I'm a Cradle Robber too.
Just the latest tag that they call, older women with younger guys. But I also like what Bina says, is that age group that you're with the cougar. You're 30, but you're with somebody that's in the 20s or whatever. It's a bigger gap, I think, versus being maybe a 5-year or 5-year difference or whatever. I think it's 10 and 15, and I think that's when it starts becoming the cougar and all that type of thing. And But no, I don't really see a problem with it or whatever. I don't.
Well, I did some research and I wanted to know, because I have to research everything before I come on the show, because I want to see what society is saying. I want to see what the blogs are saying and different things. And I learned that when it comes to women dating older women dating younger men, some of the reasons that those men said that they dated. Now, I know, Demine, you kind of started us off, but, based on some of my research, they said that older women know what they want. They're not indecisive. They know what they want. They're very solid. They have more substance about that. Did you find that to be true, Demine?
Yeah, because a woman settles down quicker than a man. That's facts. Most women that date younger men, they date that because they in their comfort zone. So it don't matter who they with, they know they playing field is level and
Right.
stuff like that. And some of them just want somebody that's compatible to them to be around. Whereas like men, anything with an apple bottom we chase. Just being honest. I mean, people probably gonna call me the hater, but you say you want honesty. I'm just trying to be honest.
Well,
But,
you are being honest, and you're helping us because we see it anyway. Men try to lie and make it seem. I would much rather a man just be completely honest with me.
But
even
women
if it
creep too, though. Women creep too. Even
Oh,
see
yes.
before that's why they call it MILF, right? So you got the MILF, then you got the cougar, then you got the granny, right? So the MILF,
The
the MILF,
granny. Did you say the granny?
well, they got the MILF, the cougar, and then the like basically like if the lady's 40 years older than you, then she's granny. But
So I'm a
like
granny.
no, I'm
Did
not
you hear
saying
that,
you.
Bina?
No,
I'm a granny.
I'm saying if you 40, I'm saying if you 40 years older than your man.
Oh, 40 years older than the man.
Yeah,
Oh,
then you're a granny. But see, I live out in Alpharetta.
What is MILF?
I live out. Yeah, you're a MILF.
What is the MILF?
Mothers I like to, that's basically what it means.
Oh, that's what
But
that means.
you never heard of that? But no, I live out
I
in.
heard it. I just never really knew what it was.
Yeah, that's what it is. That's what the term means. It's called a MILF. But I live out in Alpharetta, Georgia. So Alpharetta, Georgia, you gotta be careful because this is the biggest swinging community out here. But if you notice, like a lot of older white men are divorcing their wives to date younger black men. I mean, yeah, a lot of older white men are divorcing their wife to date younger black women, and then a lot of it's like switches swapping. So, but and you see a lot of it. Like I go to the gym and you see like a guy like 60 and his girlfriend like 20, and
wow.
and you see them walk out of a relationship. But but it's also in this community, it's a lot of wealthy people. So a lot of it is just a fling thing. Like it's the biggest swinging community and actually in the country if you Google it.
I
But you
didn't
see,
know that. Did you know that, PJ?
No.
you see a lot of.
Have you ever met swingers? Have you ever been around them, Demine?
Yes, I used to work for my boss. When I worked in a restaurant, my boss was swingers, but I found out at a Christmas party. So one day I got hired at this new company, and my boss, his wife came to me and said, I used to have cornrows to my shoulder. Her wife came to me and said, "Hey, I heard that once you go black, you never go back." So I said, well, it depends. She was like, it depends on what? I said, it depends on who you with. I said, some women run back, but she was like, I said, and then it depends on where you hear it from. I said, you should firsthand experience it, not just take somebody else's word.
Right.
So she was like, so what you doing later? I said, no, not me. But you
No,
should.
did you think I was talking about me? No.
Right.
Okay.
So she was like, why not? She was like, I said, man, I said, you work with me, so I would feel uncomfortable having a one night stand with you, and then you trying to build a relationship with me. If it works, if it gets to that point, she goes, no, I'm married to my husband, which is your boss, and we swingers. And so I was like, wait a minute, what? She said, my boss is John. my husband is John. John is your boss, right? I said, yeah, John Jones is my boss. She said, yeah, we're swingers. And I was like, okay. He's like, so he don't care. He said, if you hook up with me, he just want to be in the closet. I said, what? I said, nah, that ain't finna happen. I said, she was like, nah, he likes to sit in the closet and just listen to me and another guy have sex. And I said, to each his own. But if we hook up, I'm gonna go in the closet and beat him till I knock him out, and then I'm gonna come handle my business and leave. So ain't no man finna be in there creeping. So that's
Are you hearing this, Beta?
Listen, I got
This
a
is
lot
the
going on, but I'm paying attention. And honey, I don't know if John Jones wants you telling all his business.
no, they swingers. They open swingers. Like Alpha, like I said, Alpharetta
That's
of
what
the
you said yesterday, Miss Elida. I said you'd be surprised what these people out here living like.
I'm sitting here now
no,
with my
and
mouth open, like, what?
I found out that my boss was swingers. We was at a Christmas party, and like we was on this bus. They rented this party bus for us, and it just blew my mind. So like the women start swapping husbands. So I was like, okay, they've been drinking. Maybe it's a little bit too much going on. Maybe they just getting to know each other a little more. So Gina goes, hey, we do this all the time. So I was like, whoa, what? She's like, yeah, we get together, we get like 6 couples and we swap and we men on men, men on women. I was like, oh my God. I said, listen, I just want to get off this bus because it's a little bit too much for me. I said, I got my limits. So that's when I found out my boss was swingers. And then, so the next day, they was like, man, James, we apologize. We freak you out. I said, yeah, because I didn't know what to expect. So my mind was just racing. I didn't
It's
know
not
how.
a regular Christmas party.
No, it's not a regular Christmas party. And I said, I'm open to certain things, but that was just too much for me. Like,
Yeah, I heard Atlanta is off the chain up there. You just doing a little confirming.
yeah, they got a sex house out here. They got a house where it's got like 30 rooms in it. So whatever your fantasy is, you can go to that room. If you like,
Sounds like you've been there.
yeah, I've been there. My boy took me there. And it's got a
But
security
somebody
guard.
that's to each his own, he's like, well, let me just go and see.
You
I might
said-
not do anything, but let me go check it out.
He told me.
He said that's your business.
Later on in the
me-
broadcast, he's gonna go to one of those rooms. We'll find out.
Actually, we did, but he told me, but I didn't believe him. And so he was like, man, when you get in this house, so you got to take off all your clothes and fold it in your hand. And then whatever room you go in, you put your clothes in a locker. So you get condoms at the door. So I didn't believe him. I'm like, man, they give you condoms at the door. So that's a whole house or what? He's like, nah, man, it's it's this big house. It got rooms in it. So it got fantasy room. It got man on man, a train, gangbang, all this crazy stuff going on. So you go in whichever room you want and whatever your fantasy is. And then he said, once you get in the room, you go to another room. And I said, man, so we went there and I ain't believe him, but I was like, holy shit. I was start loving it for a minute. Then I was like, all right, I'm out.
Did you go in any of those rooms, Demond?
Yeah,
Okay,
I went
that's true. That's true. What's his name? What T.I. and Chris Brown did a song exactly that. When you were describing, now it makes sense about that video they did. And it's
right.
exactly
They got porn theaters where people hook up and they got porn theaters and like I didn't even know about it, but one I had it was Christmas. It was like Christmas Eve about 15 years ago. And I said, man, I ain't going home. And my other partner was from Alabama. And he was like, man, they got a porn theater, right? So it costs like $20 to get in. But you go down, you watch porn. He said, the women come in, there's a couple comes in and they try to take you home. So I said, wait a minute, what? He was like, yeah. So he was like, man, you want to check it out? I said, man, we ain't finna walk in there together. But I tell you what. So I said, here's what you do. So you just tell me the ropes of what I need to do. And then I go on one side of the theater, you go on one side of the theater. So we did that. So we walk in and I go on the other side and there's porn movies on and it's full of people. There's mostly couples in there looking for individuals, either other couples or individuals. So I'm over there sitting by myself. The lady she goes, are you with somebody? I goes, no, you can sit there. She goes, okay. She said, you mind my husband sit on the other side of you? I said, shit, no, he ain't sitting on the side of me. He better sit on the side of you. So then she was like, how comfortable are you? And I said, in my sexuality, I'm very comfortable. No, she said, no. If she started touching my leg because her husband wants to say, hey, let's go back to the house. I'm like, wait, no, that ain't fitting to happen. So it's wild out here, and it's real.
Wow. Okay, so Bina, listen. I am just so new to this. I don't even know how to respond.
I'm
But
gonna
I
say,
mean, we
because I don't see you taking no notes tonight, honey. But you in that music business too, so I'm sure you know what's going on. You know a little bit of something. What them notes that you've been taking, honey?
I didn't take no notes today, man.
But
I don't know nothing.
you got okay.
Demine, we're not last night we talked about a lot of stuff, but we certainly didn't go this deep into swinging. But you have had an experience.
We have.
But why did you keep going back though? If they told you what it was like, why did you just wanted to see it, or what was your reason for wanting to go there?
Well, the city has a lot of hot spots, right? So when I first came here, my boy took me to Chocolate City, and it blew my mind out of the water, right? Because I mean, whatever you want, it was going down there. Whatever you want, and you didn't have to go in no building. You got it outside in the car. You got it on the ground. The women even brought blankets so they could lay on the ground. So my boy's like, man, I'm gonna get you laid tonight. So I said, okay, let's go. We go down to it was called Stewart Avenue, but they changed the name of it. So we get there, we get to Chocolate City. You can't even get, like, the pimps or the guards block the door, and you have to tell them why you're going in there. So you'd be like, man, if you're not spending money on these women, you don't need to go in. So I said, hey, my boy said he gonna treat me, so I'm with him. And so he let us in. And you get whatever you want. It was wild out there. It was
What did
wild.
you get?
Head, sex, whatever you wanted. In the car, on the hood, it didn't even matter. There was women like you could walk in the middle of 20 cars and everybody's getting laid. So it was out in the open. It was not like they in a building. It was not like they in a little rut or whatever. It was like out in the parking lot. It was just Atlanta was just that.
So guys, so this is the thing, Bina and PJ. The reason this is so, I mean, hearing this is good. It's good to know that these things exist, but we're competing against this type of stuff in relationships, whether we're with someone younger or older. Right? We're competing with this because it's like when my guy says now that he's going out, he might be hooking up with Demine.
Nah, he ain't with me because you know what? Actually,
I don't put that past nobody nowadays.
Actually now.
But you're getting married though, Bina.
But let me say this. Let me say this. So I've been married for 10 years. I got 2 kids, right?
Okay.
Like I said, I take marriage more serious than being out there single. It's more to separate when you're married than just boyfriend and girlfriend.
More to lose.
But I tell her a lot of things that used to go on. I tell her a lot of things that I've done and stuff like that. And now, but it's to get it off your chest. Because if somebody say, "Hey, man, remember one day we used to go into Chocolate City?" And because if a lot of times I'm out by myself, so she might be like, "Hey, where's he at now?" But I tell her like this. Call me anytime if you need something, right? I say, but if I tell you I'm at the studio, I'm at the studio. If I'm working, I'm working. And now she's got that trust to say, okay, now I can trust him because I really believe him.
I'm going to be honest. I'm going to be 100 with you, Demine. My intuition with you is that you really are an honest guy. Mm-hmm. I believe that.
I put it past me. Like
I believe it.
Like like I say, you have to grow through. Like, okay, when I first came to Atlanta, whatever you wanted. So I did everything when I first got here. Atlanta blew my mind. I was 19 years old. I came from a country town where the women danced topless, not naked. But then we got into we went there and I was like, oh my God. Like, I'm gonna be honest with you. I blew my first 3 paychecks sleeping with women in strip clubs. And then my boy's like, you got rent? I said, rent? What are you talking about? He's like, dude, dummy. I was like, man, shit, I gotta borrow some money from my mom. And so because when we first got here, we was wild. So we went and did. And so for years we did, for like at least 10 years, I did everything I wanted to do in Atlanta. I seen everything in Atlanta that I wanted to see. Now it's
I'll
to
be
me.
honest with you. I had an experience in Atlanta too, guys. I went there with one of my friends, and they wanted to surprise me. They're like, "Well, Ella, here in Atlanta, we're gonna have fun. Let's go out." I'm like, "Yeah, let's do it." I'm like so excited. You know, the first thing I do when I get in the car with them, they start smoking. And I'm like, what is that? Because I'm so ignorant to certain things because I don't smoke. So I'm just like, what? Oh no. And then there's a cop, and I'm just like, oh, because I had this fear about going to jail. So I'm scared of that. They took me to this club, and everybody, you know how when you walk in the club, you're paying to get in. And I'm like, oh yeah, you know, paying my own way. And they stamp my hand. As soon as I turn around, there's a naked woman standing there. I went, what kind of place is this? They were so tickled. They thought it was so fun because they knew I wouldn't like it. So they were trying to surprise me and just see my reaction. And they got off on watching me. And you know what I did all night? It was a woman's strip club. So what I did all night, I did this. I looked up at the ceiling. I didn't want to look at nobody. I was like, man, I got to get out, because that's just not, to each his own, but this is not me. That's just not my thing, you know? But you know what? But it's good that we're talking about this though, because, you know, you mentioned earlier, Demine, that you had a side piece when you were growing, you know, when you were coming up through the way. He said, I'm not going to lie, Bina. He said, I'm not going to lie. I did it. And it was for sex. Now, you know, last night I said just that. I said, men don't always cheat just for sex. Well, he blew all that out of the water because he was like, yeah, that's why I did it.
But that's the purpose.
Yeah, because
I
I still don't understand to this day how men be like, it's literally just sex. I love you. I just love you, but I just still want to have sex with her. Like, bruh, how do you put those two and two together? I don't understand how you talking about you just love me, but you still want to go sex somebody else.
Answer that question, Demine.
It's like, okay, so
how do you just love your wife,
like,
giving yourself to someone else?
I think my homeboy said it best today on Facebook when we was joking around. He said, if you love her, you won't put your dick in her mouth. I said, no, I don't. I let her do it. So she make the decision. But I say the reason why like people do it is because, okay, you might respect your wife to not say, hey, I want to try anal or I like anal. So you might respect her more, but you might find a side piece that loves that. You know, so then you be like, okay, I'm just gonna keep it till I get tired of it. So, and I'm not talking from a marriage point. I'm not talking from a marriage point. I'm just talking from just being in a relationship and just being out there. And so you'd be like, man, okay, I got this chick, she wild as hell, but my girl, I like her, I respect her. But I got a little wild side piece. So every now and then I go spend time with the side piece because the side piece let me do whatever.
But do your wife or your girl know that you got a side piece? Are you taking her choice away by not telling her and just, you know, subjecting her to sexually transmitted diseases? Because I'm sure you're not strapping up.
But you would scrap on the side piece, but I'm saying I'm not talking from a marriage point of view. I'm just talking from a relationship point of view. Like I say,
marriage relationship doesn't matter.
The same, right?
Well, for me, like I say, there's more in a marriage to separate than just walking out the door in a relationship. So, like that's why I take it more.
PJ, what do you think about the fact that he said that he would do more with the side piece because she lets him do anything to her? Like as a side piece, I really hope side pieces hear that, because he's talking and he's saying, no, I'm not going to do that to my wife, but I'll do it to the side piece, even though you know she has feelings. And she's probably doing it, Demine, and going along with it because she's thinking, I'll do things, because she's actually bragging about it. Oh, I do things his wife don't do. That's why he keeps coming back. That's not really a compliment.
But you know what? In Atlanta,
both of them.
No, but in Atlanta, but you'd be surprised at these girls' mind frames in Atlanta. They cool with that. They'll tell you, like they say, they'll do what your wife won't do. So, or your girl won't do.
What are they getting out of it, though? What are they getting out of it?
Some people just like attention and drama. That's just what they like. That's all it is for them. For you, it's just a 30-minute enjoyment. For them, it's like a high or emotional.
30 minutes.
Well, I mean, it depends.
Well,
you ain't finna
That's about like Venus 90 days.
Well, you ain't
What?
finna be all cuffed up with no woman when you creeping. It's like
Oh,
gotta-
Miss Ellie, you are so
you know,
funny.
I'm just saying you're not gonna be 3 hours with a woman when you know you're creeping, right? Just being honest. So, but you got, like I said, you just got to think about like, and you can walk into Atlanta, and they don't even care if you marry. Like you get more women when you marry than when the single.
Single.
And everybody, and you see it all the time. Well, like, man, I have women hit on me all the time. Like I released a song, it's on the internet, and this girl sent me a whole video of her like, and I was like, wait a minute, my profile said married. She didn't even care, so I deleted it before my wife see it. But
What was she doing on the video? What was she doing?
she just telling me what I can do if we ever hook up, if I'm ever doing a show in her town. And so, like I tell her, I said, listen, there's a lot of things. There's a rapper out here in Atlanta called Little Baby. I'm pretty sure you heard of him. He's got this song out where he talks about justice and equal rights. But apparently, he paid this porn star $16,000 to clap her cheeks, right? So the girl wanted to be a little bit more. So what did she do? She goes to social media and blow him up. She said, "Little Baby really put it down on me and dropped 16K." So then it hit the net, and then his girlfriend was like, "Wait a minute, what?" So it's like, because there's just women out here. You gotta think you're in the hottest strip club in Atlanta is Magic City, right? Then the next one used to be Nikki's. Then these girls are not looking for they'll sleep with your man in a heartbeat for $50-$75. And then they go on about their business like it's nothing. Like some of them keep it business, and like I said, Atlanta, but that's what Atlanta is trained to be, because they got like a lot of they had this thing called a lingerie house, but it basically was a whorehouse that kept the cops away from it because it said lingerie. So they had all these women. So when you go in there, yeah, I've been there a lot of times.
Well, you already knew what my next question was.
So
you sure know a lot about it.
So basically,
see, wait a minute, Bina. He comes off at first like somebody told him. But he gives too many descriptive phrases. I'm like, wait a minute, that sounds like you've been in the building, bro.
But I go there when they tell you about it, you don't believe it. So you go there with people that's been.
So you have to go see it, right?
Yeah, so you're telling me about it, and I absolutely believe you, and I
do too
for myself.
You gotta believe. Like I said, I came from a country town, so basically
me too.
Basically, we have to see it to believe it. So he was like, man, and like a lot of my friends,
are visual beings.
A lot of my friends either lived in Atlanta or moved here before me. So they'd be like, man, if you go down Stewart Avenue, there's a lingerie house. So I said, what do you do there? He said, you get in there, you go in the house, you drop $100 at the door, you sit on the couch, and they bring out 6 women, and you pick out which women you want to go in the room with. So I said, what? I said, man, I don't believe that. He was like, well, you want to go? Shit, crank up the car. So we go. And then I was like, man, she was like, man, you get some condoms, or you can buy condoms there, whichever one you want. And so, like, so these things are there. Atlanta is the little California. That's what
nobody else for everything you telling us tonight, honey. Miss Ella, your show is about to blow up, honey. Sales, baby.
How many places did you have to finally go to finally realize that Atlanta is the thing, the shit? Like, one more time. Are you serious? We gotta go. So you went to all of them. In factual, you went to all of them.
Thank you,
PJ. Where you located again, PJ?
I'm in Michigan. Ain't nowhere near Atlanta.
Well, you have to say you've been there, because if you say you've been there and people be like, well, if you've been there, what happened? So if you can give details that you've been there, like when I say, hey, this used to go on because my boy.
That's not true, because you could have told me easily. I heard that's what they do, and I still would have believed the story. Like, oh, this is good. What else did you hear?
But
he looks so innocent when he says it too. I love it.
But we gonna say,
not to me.
But we said we're gonna be honest from the gate. So I'm gonna tell you, if I've been there,
I've been there. Don't take it to heart, homie. We just messing with you. We believe you. what you saying. It's just funny because you like, so I went again. And I'm like, you didn't have to go. You could have just believed him. Trust me.
But you go back. I mean, like I say, people show me spots.
I know you were young too.
Like, man,
you put that disclaimer out. You was young when it happened. So
Atlanta's off the chain.
Mine, let me ask you a question.
Yeah,
those experiences that you had when you saw all of this, you had a firsthand look at what you don't want in your life. Because I'm gonna assume that that's what you kind of assumed after you experienced all of this. You know what? I don't really want that. Let me settle down. What exactly did you learn from all of that, though, that you take into your marriage now?
Okay, so number one, you got to cleanse yourself after you've been through all that. So you have to like go through and really cleanse yourself, and then you have to like, of course, you lose your religion along the way, but then you have to like regain your sanity. So once you regain your sanity, then you focus on a new path and what you really want in life. So that's what I did. I was like, okay, let me calm down some. You know, I got lucky. No STDs, no AIDS. Let me calm down a little bit. Took a deep breath.
Well, how could you get STDs and AIDS if you were using condoms?
Well, you can, because you can well, people don't know. It's transferred through saliva. It's transferred through saliva, so it doesn't like have to be like penetration. It could be head job. You can get it from a head job. Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. So you have to be that's why a lot of people. They say Atlanta. They used to call it
the capital.
They used to call it the syphilis center because everybody had syphilis from because they used to go to this one famous strip club in Atlanta called Nicky's, and Nicky's no matter who you were, like David Justice brought Halle Berry in there, so everybody that was big has been in there. Everybody that's big, if somebody said they've been to Nicky's. Oh, they've been to Atlanta, they've been to Magic City, or they've been Nicky's, because those were the.
TJ, let me ask you a question. How would you feel if your man wanted to take you to a strip club where there's women? What am I even supposed to think about that?
Today I probably wouldn't have a problem with it. And it kind of goes back to kind of what he was saying. And I say that because early on in one of my relationships, I had a problem with my guy looking at the porn magazines. And so my heart is on my sleeve. Like, why are you looking at that? I can do that. I'm right here. And it was like, dang, why you go all out like that, Patty? It was just a picture. It was just a book. I guess my thing is, I have to look at it from a different point of view, like it's entertainment. And if that entertains him, then cool. But the fact that he asked me to go with him, there's a trust thing there. And then am I okay to go with it? Now, do I allow him to go if I don't want to go? I'm going to let him go. I'm going to trust him and I'm going to let him go. To me, it's entertainment. But, you're going with the whole thing that you're not doing all the things that the mind is talking about, or it ain't that type of spot. But for me, if he wanted to go to it, I'd let him go.
What about you, Bina? If your husband came to... If your fiance
together, yeah,
you really do.
Yeah, I like it. I like seeing them.
So why was I sitting there looking in the ceiling? I didn't want to look. Yeah, I didn't want to look at the women. Right. I was.
So I mean, it is entertainment. Like PJ said, I agree with you. It's entertainment, and I mean, it's fun. We turning up. We both, and actually. Being in that environment makes you and your significant other, like y'all be turned on. Y'all watching the girls dance, but now you want to get up. Now you want to dance for him. So you get up and you drop it a little bit back there on him, and he's like, "Okay, baby." So now y'all entertaining each other. So I think it's a good thing. Not just in balance. Not hitting the strip club every weekend, once or twice a year. Yeah. It's fun, but.
Yeah, the birthday.
Yeah.
Now, Demine, let me ask you a question. If you wanted to take your woman to the strip club and she didn't want to go, and she didn't want you to go, how do you respond to that?
If it's my woman versus my wife, that's a different story. If it's my woman, okay, I go, she'd be mad. If it's my wife, it's a different story. I won't go.
Why is there a difference?
I think say because
like I said, in a marriage you got more to lose, and then like when you marry somebody, it's more of like we trust each other more now that we've accumulated so much together. So whereas in a relationship, you really hasn't accumulated much. You just trying to get to that point to where you playing mommy and daddy. But that those days are over. Now you mommy and daddy and stuff like that. And then like my
No,
kids, I try not to like put her in a situation to where, she has to say, well, daddy left because he found a woman in the script club. Because I try to teach my kids good values too. And I tell my son 9-year-old, there's a lot of things out here in Atlanta that I hope you don't see, but you're going to see it. And you just gotta, when you see it, there's a decisions to make. And so whatever decision you make, just
well,
make the
why would
best.
they be saying it? That's our job to, control
But
what
in Atlanta, you can't hide it. I mean, you could go down to a basketball game and there's people screwing in the bushes.
Okay, well,
So,
we're not going to this
so
basketball game where people screwing in the
I'm
bushes.
just saying, you could go to a shopping, you can go to Walmart or you can go to Target or Kroger, and people screwing in a car. So, like where we live
I
at,
go to Atlanta
You
all the
don't think
time. I've
Atlanta
never seen
really
any
like
of this.
that? Okay, so like, what
listen,
I've
part of
gone to
Atlanta you
Atlanta a lot.
live in, bro?
let me say this. Let me say this. So we live in a townhouse subdivision. So my work truck is parked out in a cul-de-sac. So one morning, my mother-in-law, I had left before her, and there was a car in the corner. And I know they were getting it on because you could see the motion in the ocean in the car. But that was none of my business. I got in my truck, crank up, and left. While my mother comes out, she sees the car bouncing like it's got rubber on it. So she go knock on the window, say, "Hey, get out of here with that. I have grandkids." So these things, you gonna see it because it happened. I used to work at a bar. I was a kitchen manager at this bar, and we had to. Sometimes I walk into a bathroom where a couple's having sex, and I'd be like, "Hey, y'all got to go get a room next door." Or there's a couple in the corner grinding on each other where the lady got her skirt up and she's riding the man, and we have to go
Yeah,
say,
but
"Hey,
that's
you got."
not something your child finna see.
No, but I'm just saying it's out in the public. Like if he walked down in the circle to go shoot basketball and he sees that car there, what are you gonna think? He'd be like, "Daddy, why is that car moving like that?"
I'm not letting my kids out of my sight. He's not walking down the
No,
street to go
no,
play
I'm not saying
basketball.
no. Well, I take him. If I take him to the corner, the circle to shoot basketball, I don't send my kids nowhere. I don't send none of my kids. I go with them. But I said, if I was walking to the corner with him at that time, and the car is bouncing like that, and he goes, "Daddy, what's wrong with that car?" So, but I say you see it all the time. No matter where you go in Atlanta, you see it. You see it. That you see it in bushes. You see it in cars.
Thank
But
you
PJ,
for confirming that I'm not moving to
Bina,
Atlanta.
I want to talk. I want to talk a little bit about these women after they have been involved with people like DeMind. They're kind of messed up now because he's hurt them. Because DeMind seems to think that he has to only do good by the women that he's married to, as opposed to the ones. I still don't get that. But when these women have been a part of that, let's say a woman has been a side piece, PJ and Bina, they've been a side piece and they really did want something out of it, but he knew he was just doing it for fun. And now she's hurt. She's feeling rejected. She's feeling
Oh, but that's
betrayed.
her own fault, Miss Ella.
Yep.
That's her own fault. Like, bruh, you not no. That's nobody's responsibility but her own.
Yep.
Because no.
She went into it knowing what was up.
Yes, you went into it. And I once was a side chick, but I just vowed to not ever. I was young. I was in a stage in my life. I was in my early 20s, and I hadn't fully healed. I was in a moment where I just had that I don't give a attitude. And I realized that I didn't hurt nobody but myself. But yeah, that was something I learned very quickly. Like, yeah, we're not doing this. This is not it. Because what did Wendell talk about last night? These soul ties. What did he say? He had to cleanse himself. All those souls, honey.
But like
all those soul ties that you're doing. So
Yep.
I don't even think how you can even say, and even when men say, "Oh, I was just doing it." No, you guys are being connected in some type of way. Like you're being more fond of her, or you being more attached. It's something going on when you clearly are being physical with one another. So you gotta fully take responsibility for your own decisions and your own actions. Like that's no one's fault but your own.
Would you mind? Let me ask you a question. Do you feel responsible in any kind of way when you have been in a relationship with a woman and she was a side piece and now she's hurt? Do you feel responsible for that?
I mean, so basically, there's an understanding before you even take the next step,
Yeah.
because you're gonna let her know that, okay, I'm not trying, and you see it all the time. Like I'm like this type of behavior is rampant through Atlanta, where you see women. I'm not trying to change my situation. I just want something on the side. So
That's how you say it. That's how you say it. I'm not trying
That's
to
how
change
they
my
say it
situation.
too.
that's how it's said. That's how it's worded. That's how
Yeah.
it's worded. So you be like, hey, okay, we I mean, it happened with and anywhere. You Scottie Pippen and what's the guy name from Atlanta? Future. With Future, Scottie Pippen wife told Future that, hey, I'm not trying to change my situation, but I would like to kick it with you on the side. Well, the lady didn't say anything, but Future put it in a song that he slept with Scottie Pippen's wife, and that's how they find out. So that type of behavior goes. It's I don't want to say it's acceptable, but it's out there. So, but you let them know that, hey, okay, cool, I got a lady, right? But I ain't trying to change my situation. So it's up to you if you want to take it further.
And
So he
so
gives her
many
a
of them
choice.
do.
He
So
gives
many
her
of
a
them
choice.
do.
Yeah, a lot of chicks in Atlanta be like, man, I ain't trying to do nothing, but I just want to smash every once or twice a week.
Oh, but they're benefiting financially. I'm guaranteed.
Oh,
Guaranteed
no.
they're
So
benefiting financially. Ain't nobody out here, especially I know them Atlanta hoes ain't for free.
well, a lot of them don't. I mean, I hate to say it, but when you ride through Atlanta, a lot of them in areas where there might be no windows in the house. So well, I mean, I hate to say take advantage of a situation, but like I said, when I first came here, I was out there in Atlanta, and I ain't had nobody to say, "Hey, James, don't do that." Like my mom would say, "Hey, don't bring them two women to my house, because I ain't want no fight in my yard." But you
But
say, "Hey,"
your mama didn't have to tell you that. You knew that.
well, I mean, yeah, I knew that, but in the country,
Coach
everybody know where
TJ.
everybody stay.
But
Everybody,
I'm gonna ask you guys all a question.
You just sound like you know. How old are you? Do you want me to ask you? Do you mind? How old are you?
42, 42.
So let me ask you guys all a question. Why do the women, okay, they don't get what they want in the extramarital affair? They don't get what they want. Oh, you're gonna go back to your wife. Now they tell it. Is that how don't you worry that your wife is gonna find out? I mean, well, not your wife, because you're not doing it now, but your woman, are you worried that she would find out? Like, or do you care? Because women talk. And if she doesn't get what she wants, she's gonna tell somebody.
And in Atlanta, we call them groupies. So, it's just basically like if she said, okay, I'm gonna tell the lady this and that happened, I'd be like, so what? If she leave, it ain't like it's something concrete there. So because like I always tell people like this,
Wow.
when I used to, my wife would tell you like I said, I used to juggle like 3 or 4 women, but she knew about them, and they all knew about each other. Like, and I had my own
I was
I
just
had my
gonna say
own
that.
spot, so I used to always say like,
No.
I don't need no woman to pay my bills. I don't need no women to help me pay my bills. And so like I always say like I always look at people as what you want, right? If like my wife said, okay, I wanted, when she sat down and said, hey, this is what I want. And so that's why I took her seriously, because the other three really didn't say what they really wanted. It just, okay, he got his own crib. Sometimes he at work. I take the car and I come and pick him up at work. I can go out all the time when I want to, whatever. And so and we had the conversation of what's next. Well, I don't know. I'm just in Atlanta trying to go to school, trying to have a little fun and be young. Well, okay, but what's next? Or do you want to settle down? Do you want to try to build or what? No.
So, so
Right
would you
now, let's
have,
just have fun.
so would you have all those women, and let's say that that main one is the one you put the most time into. but then one of them other side piece do a little bit more, whatever. Are you gonna leave the one that you put more time into for that other one because she didn't change?
Well, my wife was like, so she, like I said, she started doing more that I didn't expect and didn't ask her. Like she would.
I'm saying, well, what if one of the other ones has started doing more?
No, they didn't care. They just wanted like they just wanted to come over because I had my own place. I let them do what I want, let them do what they want. I mean, hang out. You know, that's all they really wanted. And I was like, that's not what I want. And so I started looking at the situation. It was like, okay, I'm starting to get older now. I done been through Atlanta. What's next for me? Like I said, I had to cleanse of myself and then start over. And then once I start over, then my vision became this is what I want. I want my own company. I want a family. I want this. I want that.
So it sounds to me then that women who are in relationships, I'm getting a lot. And it's good that we have a man here to pick his brain, because it sounds to me like he was a little bit more, he gravitated a little more toward the woman who made it conditional. Like, this is what I want. This is how it's going to be. She knew who she was. And the women that just living life, thinking life is about just having fun and sex and all that and no goals, men, you didn't respect those women. Is that what it is? Is that what you're saying to mine? You didn't respect
from my point of view, like, okay, yes, and let me tell you why. Because, okay, so like I like one of the chicks, I was like, okay, maybe might get her to change. So I'd be like, hey, let's work on it. But she didn't want to. I was like, okay, it's your birthday. I give you $500 for your birthday. You call your friends, you go to the mall and blow it all, come back. So I was like, okay, I don't make you pay bills, but you wait tables because you go to school. But I was like, why don't you try saving some money? I said, what if something happened to me where I can't work for 2 or 3 months? Who's gonna handle the bills? But she was like, well, we wait till that time comes. So then, whereas like, okay, so my wife, when I started to take her serious, I give her $500. She take it and put it in the bank and don't spend it. So I was like, okay, whereas you start to see somebody who really is trying to help you build or will help you build. Because my wife always said, she was like, you got them other 3 girlfriends, I will never fight for you, but I'll fight with you. And that line right there is when I said, okay, you know what? Give me time to work on myself and I'm on the straight now.
So
do men like a woman that's a challenge?
Yeah. Hey, let me see my little one right here. Say hey.
Hi, David.
Hi,
Hi, little baby.
So cute.
So hold on. So I won't say we hate women that's a challenge, because my wife, we challenge each other to do better. Like, we got a business now. We used to work for a company. We got our own company and we're doing well. If you hate a woman that's a challenge, then you don't really want a successful relationship, or you want a woman that you can pretty much manhandle. With me, like, I tell her like this. Okay, so basically right now, my wife has access to cash, probably 150,000. You can't give that to anybody, because then, and all kinds of credit cards and stuff like that, business stuff. You can't give that to anybody, because guess what? I said, I've been through it before. I had a chick that I really liked, but you can't let them know that you have that kind of little bit of spending power, because they want to go and buy this and go and buy. No, that's understand. Like my kids right now. My wife told me, said, I don't mind you keep doing music, but I want my kids to have a bank account. I want my kids to have life insurance. Okay, got that. I want my kids to go on vacation. Got that. We go on vacation twice a year. So those are the goals, and I see, like, that's when I feel like, okay, this is the person that's for me. Because if I screw this up, and then I'm gonna be dealing with something else that I don't really want to deal with.
So you got it all out of your system.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit more, because before we end our show, I wanna delve into this a little bit with my ladies here. Let's talk about these women that are dating these younger men, and vice versa, because women who date younger men, Bina, we have a tendency, and when I say we, because I'm included in that. And if we are in those types of relationships, we're already settled with what we want. We've done a lot of stuff, you know, and we can recognize. You said something very profound earlier. You said a woman's intuition is so, and we've been through so much. It's almost like I can see the lie coming out of your mouth. I'm like, boy, look.
Miss Ellis, I've been being on my best behavior these last 2 days, but that fuckery is real out here.
Yes, I mean, but you're getting ready to get married to your guy that you're 9 years older than.
Yes.
And it's so ironic because the guy that I like is 9 years younger than me as well.
Wow.
But, and I've never done that. I've never even considered wanting to be with someone younger.
Right.
But I'm going to talk about some of the things that's good with it and some of the things that are not good with it. For people that are on the fence about whether you want to be in a relationship with someone younger, I think one of the things that we like to see is maturity out of them.
Yes.
They have to be mature. They have to be decisive. They have to have their own money. They need to be able to take care of themselves because we don't want to mommy you.
Right.
And I think that's one of the things, PJ, I mean, if you can agree with me on this, that we as older women are challenged with is meeting a guy that really wants us, that really is in love with us, that really cannot go a day without us, as opposed to someone that's like, well, can you help me with this? Can you do this? You know, because we don't want to feel like a mommy, because that's unattractive. I'm sorry. It's kind of hard for me to be turned on by you when I had to just pay your light bill. You know what I'm saying? I mean, using that as an example.
Wait a minute.
I'm not paying anybody's light bill.
Wait a minute. It's called relationship. You gotta, I mean, if it's a every week thing, like I say this, like one of my friends I went to school with, she says that if the man want to be the head of the house, why should I have to pay bills? So I was like, listen, if I say, ain't like when he come home, you got food cooked, you got his clothes washed, you know, I say, why? I said, nowadays, I said, you got to be careful with women. Like my wife is a stay-at-home mom, but she helps me run the business. So that's why she stay at home. But it's like when I get home, there's things that I don't have to tell her that gets done. Like I want to say,
but when you have a woman who's working more than you, or if 40 hours plus, don't expect me to be that stay-at-home mama too. Like we're running this household together. It's
right.
100. Ain't no woman's chores, man's chores. No. Because he cooks more than I do. Thank God for him.
Like I used to cook for a living, so I don't cook at all. But my wife cooks. But she like, okay. So like I tell her like this, you don't have to wash my clothes. I can wash my clothes. I know how to do that. And when I was 18, I dated a woman she was a school bus driver and a substitute teacher at my school. She was 36. She was 18 years older than me, but she took me more serious than I took her. Like she taught me a lot of things, but she used to take me from school to her house and stuff like that. So, and
now I know you guys are thinking it too. I know y'all are thinking it too. How in the world was this? I mean, come on, Nabita. We're all thinking it. That's what I'm here for as the host. I have to ask the questions.
Like
everybody's thinking.
Done it all. The mind. What does the mind mean? Where did that name come from?
No, I gotta ask this question first. You're 18. She's 36. What was the sex like?
Basically, she taught me more about. She taught me a lot about sex and how to please women, because she always used to say, "This is what I like." And stuff like that. Okay. And so her husband was he was a part-time military guy. And so like even when
her husband?
Yeah, she was married.
The story. Girl, tonight is when we need the wine. Okay.
The night is when we need the wine. Yes, ma'am.
But you know what?
She was married.
My mom found out and
wait a minute. She was married, Demine. She was married.
This was a teacher, he said.
Yeah, she was a substitute teacher and a bus driver.
But she was married.
She was married.
Okay.
You heard him right, Miss Ella.
I actually, her daughter.
I done been around a few times.
It was crazy because one of her daughters was in my class, and and her daughter used to always ask me why I'm never in school. So I didn't want to say because your mom would take me home. But what happened was
I'm gonna have to do a cleanse after this conversation.
she used to come pick me. So my mom found out because I used to get up like 5 o'clock in the morning to leave to go to school. My mom's like, "Why are you leaving at 5 in the morning?" Well, she used to come pick me up in her car, and then I go ride her bus to school. And so she was like, so I told my mom. So she was like, one day my mom's like, "Okay, what the freak is going on with you?" So I said, "Hey, I'm seeing this chick. She works at the school." She's like, "What?" I said, "She's a bus driver. She's a substitute teacher." So I said, "But she's married to a military man, so I don't want to get killed. So you got to be quiet." And
What?
my mom's like,
imagine the tea that I'm imagining I got. That's what I'm gonna do.
my dad was like, "That's my boy." My mom's like, "I'd punch you in your mouth," So dad, he was like, "I mean, how'd you meet this?" I was like, "I don't know." Like, she used to always come get me out of class, and we would sit down and talk. And then, like, one day, we just went on the bus, and then she took me to her car, and we went to her house, and it just escalated from there. So we just started seeing each other for like 2 years. But then I told her, like, when I told her I couldn't do anymore, she actually pulled a gun on me in the school parking lot, and she was like, "I risked everything for you." And I was like, I got a whole life ahead of me. You're married with 2 kids. Your daughter's in my class and stuff like that. And then so one day, this happened like 2 years ago. One of my friends that I went to school with named
You can't make it up. You can't make this stuff up.
One of my Facebook friends.
Wait a minute, Demai, you just going all past this like this is normal. Okay, she pulled a gun on you.
Wait, 2 years later, you were still in high school?
No, 2 years later, we wasn't still in high school.
Was you really 16 while she was doing all this? Because you be using a lot of information, bro.
No, I started school late, so I went to school till I was 19.
Okay.
So because I started late, I started 2 years late because I started going to
18 when you started, right? So you was 20 when you graduated.
No,
18 carry the 1 and minus the 5.
No,
Yeah,
I wasn't 18 when I started school. I was 18 when I started seeing her.
Right. That's what I'm talking about. You were 18 when you started seeing her.
I was 18 in 11th grade. So 19, I was in the 12th grade.
12th grade, yeah.
Okay.
I get that. That makes sense. I got you.
So that's why
like the time frames is not adding up, but yeah. I don't know what.
You were legal. That's what matters. You were legal.
No, when it first started, I had just turned legal. I just turned 18. And so because you got to think the way the school year runs. So but my birthday's in April. So then my son's crying. Hold on for a second.
Uh-oh.
Them two fighting.
Oh, no.
But we dated for like 2 years. So at 12th grade, when I was about to be done with school, I was like, "Hey, my mom said this gotta stop." And so she was like, "What?" She was like, "I risked everything for you."
Uh-oh.
Okay.
Oh, you're going back to the story.
So I was 19. She still didn't want me being with the lady because she was married. But I said, if it finds out her husband's an ex-military guy or military guy, so he got all the guns, all the weapons.
I guess the baby's like, "That's enough. Y'all need to stop."
But then she was like, at like the last day of school, she pulled a gun on me in the parking lot, and she was like, "I risked everything for you." And so I was like, "Wait a minute, we did this together." But I said, I was thinking about moving to Atlanta. I said, I got more. I said, your life is already settled, and I'm just beginning to get into a life. And I said, your daughter, it was in my class all year, and she used to make fun of me of why I never in school, why I never in class.
Are we surprised to hear this though, Bina and PJ? This is a 36-year-old woman. That's acting this way over an 18-year-old young man. Because I'm sitting here talking about how younger men like older women because of our maturity, and you're telling me that this woman just lost it. I mean, I mean, I guess everybody has a tendency to do that when their heart has been broken for whatever reason. But when we get into these relationships, like I was saying, we want men who are decisive, they have their stuff together, and they're not just coming into the relationship. Because women, when we're considering being with someone younger, there are a lot of things that we are considering. And one of those things are, we want to know that you're going to do us right, that you're not just playing games, because we don't have time for that. And so I don't know. We've all considered being with younger men. Some of us have been, some of us are. Demind, you were with older women, so you were a very good person to talk to tonight about this subject.
Oh yeah,
because you have shared quite a bit with us. I don't think I'm gonna be the same after tonight.
No,
I don't think I'm gonna be the same after tonight. But you know what? I'm so glad that we were able to have this conversation, because you know what? So many people don't want to have this real talk conversation, and then their relationships fail. And Demind, you brought a lot of things into your relationship, not so much as baggage, but knowledge. And I think that that's the reason your relationship will last, because you've shared these experiences with your wife, I'm sure. She doesn't see it in you. That's why you guys are still happy. And I think that you're going to be fine moving forward, because you don't want to go to any of this stuff and be involved with any of this stuff anymore. You're settled in your mind. You guys have businesses. You have a family. You have a home. And good for you.
Yeah,
good for you and your wife.
But that's how you deal with it. You got to talk about it, because I'm like, I hang around my friends and we joke about a lot of stuff we used to do. And she was like, what? So I was like, being open with somebody and tell them. But my wife, she saw it a lot while we were just messing around. Like I said, she knew that back then, but I told her like this, you have more of a direction than the other three people that I'm with. They just want to hang out, spend money, and sleep together. Whereas like, you want goals. You have goals that you set that you want to do. And I said I said right then and there, I said, just give me time to work on myself. And then, I said, we're going to make it work. And so that was 12, 13 years ago. So now we like I said, we're to the point that we joke about stuff, and it is what it is.
Now, Bina, when you were a side piece, were you and your guy in love?
I won't even say that. I didn't even know how to love myself, so I sure wasn't in love with him. We were very fond of each other. But see, I clearly knew going into that situation that he was not going anywhere. He was not leaving his wife. And, I kind of just outgrew that whole situation. Like, it didn't last that long, because you realize, like, what am I doing? Like, I'm really out here having meaningless experiences, and it's just not. It's not cool.
It got old.
You're gonna get back everything you put out. So I'm just like, yeah, no, I can't do this. I won't do this. And I had to have higher standards for myself and hold myself accountable for the decisions that I was making, regardless if I was benefiting financially from it. But it wasn't worth it in the long run. It wasn't worth it at all.
What do you want people to get from this show, PJ, before we get out of here? What do you want? Because these last two nights, I feel like, it's been real. Listen, if you have just tuned in or if you missed this broadcast, you got to go back and watch the last night, and then definitely tune in and watch this one tonight, because I think that we have put a lot of good information out here, because people don't like to have these conversations because we don't like to be real and honest and, transparent about what we've done. I mean, own it. If you used to be a side piece, you were a side piece. If you were a hoe, you were a hoe.
I was, and I was young, and that makes no excuse. But I have a question for Demind, because as I listened to you talk about how, you were honest, and we talked about last night about being honest with them and not taking a choice, and she still chose to stay there. Remember, we that was one of your questions, Miss Ella. And she still chose to stay there. My thing was, though, she started pouring more into your cup. What was you returning and pouring back into her cup? Because it kind of seemed like it was a selfish, one-sided relationship that she had to prove herself worthy to be with you? Like, what were you giving her in return, showing her that, you know, let me pour back into your cup? What was that? What was the even exchange at?
Good question.
Well, a lot of things was like she did on her own, but a lot of it's like, okay, I said, because I always tell her like this, you know, people do stuff and then when you get comfortable with them, they back off it. But you know, her intentions were good from the gate. So once I saw her intentions, like it wasn't like you got to prove yourself 5 months to me or 3 months or whatever. It wasn't that. It's just that when we sat down and talked, and I say, so what are your goals? What's your ambition? What's next? And then when she laid out what was next, like our plan was almost identical. And so, well, when I
I
talked
like
to the
it.
other chicks, when I talked to the other women's that I said, what's next? Well, we just gonna hang out till we get tired of each other. That's not my goal, you know. And so, and like I said, she handled things differently than a lot of um the other three chicks. Like if
Why
the
have three chicks though? I don't. I hear what you're saying,
I mean,
but it's
because
like she was saying, there still had to be every one of them had to have something for you to stay with them, even though you knew they didn't
I
have
don't know.
goals. You still had
actually
three
I
of
feel
them.
actually
like he was having a lot of
actually
meaningless
actually
experiences.
they didn't want anything, but my wife was the only one who wanted something. The other rest was just I had my own place, I had nice cars, I worked as a kitchen manager, I made great money, we hung out. They like being at basketball games, they like me going to the football. That's it. It was just like being out in the atmosphere. And I was like,
And
I
I'm
don't
sure
want
you was
that.
spoiling them too, though, wasn't you? You was breaking bread.
I mean, well, if I go to the game, I'm gonna take them with me, you know. So I ain't gonna leave them there, but then I
You're
was like,
such a
okay,
good
so
guy.
I said, so I was like, what's next? And then, and as I got older, what's next? Because I done did almost everything I wanted to do.
But Bina, let me just share with you. When I mentioned to him about what you said last night about 90 days, he lost his dumb mind. Baby,
I don't
what?
want the 90 minutes. The mind, this 90 minutes.
Demai, you got it. He was like, I said, Demai,
But
what if I told you that you had to wait 90 days and I want you to tell Bina what
Mommy's
you said.
downstairs. Say, mommy, just come.
He
Oh, this
lost,
is my
he,
what was your response to that, the mind?
Hey guys, I gotta head to do something else. I love being on the show, and I'll talk with you guys later. Okay.
okay,
Yes,
dear.
family,
See
TJ.
ya.
Yeah. Bye.
90 days wasn't kicking. I mean, we don't just have that in the A. We don't have no
Not
90
with that
days.
lifestyle you was living. You could 90 minutes was all you getting about him.
90,
If you
if
wouldn't
we
shake
luck,
yourself in 90 minutes.
if we lucky, 90 seconds.
Oh man.
Man.
It's,
Well, listen, guys,
like,
it has been real. It has been real. I am so excited that you guys were able to come, and you, Bina, and
Yes, my apologies. I got off
everybody,
late tonight.
Sabrina. That's okay. Sabrina was on earlier, and then everybody that PJ was here as well. So I'm so glad that you guys were able to come back tonight.
Yes.
Because I know that was kind of last minute last night. I was like, hey, can you guys come back tonight? And you
Yeah,
did.
come on.
And we
You know
had
what?
another awesome
Let me
conversation.
downstairs.
But joining us tonight was Demind, and he's an indie R&B artist, and he is doing really well for himself in Georgia. So we definitely want to, the next
How can I
time,
find
maybe
your
we can
music?
get some concert tickets or,
I was gonna say,
you
where
know.
can we find your music at?
Yeah, where can we find your music?
It's on Spotify. It's on Pandora. The single is called "The Mind Beautiful." Yeah, I know you hear my conversation, but when you hear my music, I really try to like inspire now because I done seen so
Spit a
much.
little bit of it. Spit a little bit of it for us before we go tonight. Just give us a little
Uh,
something. Are you shy, Demind?
no, it says black women don't need too much because her body's been calling because she fine as fuck. That natural beauty, man, that's a body. All the women trying to be that hottie, but their body ain't built. I'm just keeping it real. Chocolate plus them curves always seal the deal. So
Oh, I like those lyrics.
yeah, the
I
song's
like
hot. It's
that.
going crazy right now on the net.
Well, I saw that. I did a little reading on your song, and you basically dedicated to women,
Yeah.
young and old. And I like that. I like that. And I think that your
Are you on
experiences are the
SoundCloud?
reason you.
Yes. Just put
I
in the
think your
bond.
experiences are the reason that you see women the way you do now.
Yeah.
And but you had to go to a whole lot of those houses to figure it out, though. I'm just saying.
Well, you see them like destroying themselves, and
And it
as a
makes you real,
as a
yeah.
black man, your job is to pick them up and not put them down. So, like
Oh wow.
I said, my mom was black. She raised 7 of us on her own. So, I was like, what am I doing? So, like I said,
I
I
like your message because you're going to be the type of artist that helps women. You're going to reverse the game,
right.
where because you got artists out there that call women the B and all this kind of stuff, and you're saying the B word but beautiful, and I
Yeah,
like that.
I got
like it.
a song I call The Other Dude, and the guys hate that record because the hook go, if that nigga ain't a boss, you should mess with the other dude. If his team's taking a loss, you should mess with the other dude. If he don't know how to ball, you should mess with the other dude. If he always talking tall, you should mess with the other dude. And I told him when that record first came out, I put it out for a little hot second, but I didn't want to release it. And everybody's like, what are you doing? It was like, are you male bashing now? I said, no, I'm just telling people that if you got 10 friends that can drink, but not 10 to open a business, you got 10 of the wrong dudes. If you got a guy that only sleeps with you, but I told this girl, I said, if you think just because you date a rich man, he means well for you, ask him to open you up a business and see what his decision is. I said, when you asked him what the first thing he said, why you need a business? I don't want to depend on you. So if you're in a situation and you care about me, you would help me get my own. So that's why I told.
Wow.
So that's why. So my mind frame, like I say, when you listen to my music and you hear me talk, you be like, "What? This guy is totally to the 360."
I already see it tonight. I already see it. I mean, I can really see past this when it comes to people. I can see that it changed you. And I'm so glad that you were able to come and share some of those experiences, as many as you've had with us tonight. You've helped me. I will be the same, Bina.
Very insane.
I need a drink after this for real.
Listen, I'm gonna go
For
take a
real.
shot. We can do drink. We just gonna take it to the head, Miss Ella. We gonna just gonna take it. And I done pulled you up on SoundCloud, so I'm finna check you out too now. I'm finna go try to follow you on all your little social
Well,
media. You guys,
we want to follow you, Demine. So stay in touch with the Ella Johnson Show. I want to follow you. I mean, maybe when I'm in Georgia, one of those times, y'all come to one of your events or something.
I don't know,
because I believe in definitely support.
all those events we had going on. You might not want to go up in them events.
Girl, I couldn't even handle being in the strip club, so I don't know if I'm ready. I was in the strip club like this.
Down now, so he probably done calm down a little bit.
Yeah, I'm sure he has, because I'm sure. What's your wife's name? Let's give her a shout out because she's taking care of things. What's her name? Mariana. Well, hello, sweetheart queen.
Yes,
love you. Thank you so much for allowing your husband to be on the show tonight.
Yes.
Anything you want to say, Bina? Where can people find you and follow you and what you're doing, hon?
I am revamping. I'm in the process of revamping because I have a lot of things going on. But you can find me on Instagram at Good Rising Intuitive. You can find me on Facebook at Bina Marie, and yeah. That's what
and
I got.
You're also in the works of working on her book.
Yes, my book and a business. What you just was talking about, Demine, about to start a business, which is going to be very fantastic for myself and my sister. We're going into business together, in the midst of all the other things that I got going on. So, but yeah, Facebook, Bina Marie. I don't have a Twitter. I have a Snap, but I'm just totally gonna hire somebody for my social media stuff one day because I'm old school. I don't be knowing what to do with all this young people stuff.
Well, you'll figure it out. You'll figure it out. But listen, guys, it's been a wonderful evening. Thank you all so much. Those of you that have tuned in for both nights with us, we appreciate you as always. Next week we have some more interesting shows coming up. Jonathan Coleman, Blacktopia, is going to be here with me on Thursday. We're going to have a panel. And I may invite you to that panel, being it's going to be like, The Real. And we're just going to talk about a lot of different subjects.
Yes,
so we're putting that panel together. And I think I definitely want you to be one of the people. But he's going to be here with me on the Ella Johnson Show. Coming up, guys, at some point, I am looking for people who want to come on my show and interview me.
Yes.
You heard it. Yes. Because with my books relaunch, I have a children's book coming out next month, at the end of next month.
Wait to
and Demind, I want you to buy. How many kids do you have?
2.
2. Okay. Well, I want you to buy a book for the kids you have and the ones you're going to think about having later on. All right.
Yeah.
When they come out of the womb, they're going to need a book.
I'm done. That's it. I got my
You're
2. I
done?
got my 2 boys. I got a 9-year-old and a 2-year-old. I'm done.
You're done. Well,
They
listen,
grown.
well, you guys, I mean, if you follow me on Facebook, you know that I have a children's book that's coming up. And then the title of it is Love You More. And this book is dedicated to my sister who passed last year. Because I think that I want to take, as a writer for children's books, I want to take our kids into an area that the clouds and the sky and the grass and all that kind of pretty stuff paints for them. We're in a different world now. And I want to adjust them to that world by giving them real life situations in my books. So Mahogany Kids, Mahogany Motivations LLC, it's all coming up next month. So I'm excited about that. And then, of course, my books, the Torn series is relaunching, Bina. I am excited.
Wait, I cannot wait. Do you hear me? Asking, where can I get this book at? I want to sit in my happy place and read your book, my love.
Well, if you have not had the Torn series yet, it's coming and it's going to be incredible. Listen, the book is based on true events and I broke it down into 4 books. So all of my books are they're all like over 400 pages each, but moving forward, you'll be able to get my books on Amazon. That's the only place you'll be able to get them is on Amazon, and the books will be shipped directly to you. Then at some point, I'll come to your city, have a book signing. You can come and meet me personally, and I'll sign your book. But when the people come onto my show and interview, they're going to talk about, they're going to interview me about, what the story really is and what I was thinking when I wrote it and stuff like that. But we're going to get out of here, guys. It's been real. Love you all so much. Have a great weekend.
Love you,
and we'll see you next time, next Wednesday, right here on the Ella Johnson Show, 8 p.m. Eastern, Facebook and YouTube Live. See ya. Thanks for tuning in to the Ella Johnson Show.